Hey family. Hey, how are y'all doing today? Wednesdays are for Q&A. Wednesdays are for question and answers. So if you have questions, please drop them down in the chat. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have about cannabis being medicine, my role of being a cannabis nurse. Hey sis, how are you? Anything that you can think of that will support your journey, I'd be happy to be there to answer those questions for you. Hello, hello. Wednesdays are for question and answers. So, any questions that you may have, I'd be happy to answer them. Please leave them in the chat. Um, Good. I am well. Today has been a long day. This week has been a long week. The kids are home, multitasking at its finest, getting stuff done, having webinars, navigating this group where we're learning how to brand you, all but while leveraging cannabis as medicine as our unique selling proposition. And so I wanted to jump on here because it's Wednesday. I'm gonna be here Wednesdays, 7 p.m. every Wednesday, except for in a couple weeks because I'm going out of the country, y'all. And I really want y'all to guess where I'm going because I don't think y'all gonna guess it. But I wanted to answer questions here. I wanted to catch y'all up. I wanted to talk about the endocannabinoid system. What questions do you have about the endocannabinoid system? Did you know you had an endocannabinoid system? Did you know you had one? Did you know that cannabis has a genetic profile that is intended to bind with that endocannabinoid system? Did you know that hospitals need nurse professionals, healthcare professionals that are willing to advocate for patients who choose to consume cannabis? Did y'all know that? Did you know there's a place for you to build a brand leveraging that fact, right? So when we talk about cannabis medicine, when we talk about having a brand, leveraging a brand, being present within that brand, being authentic into that brand, what is it? What do you all think of? What questions come to mind when I start saying any of that stuff? Oh, you didn't know that? Okay, okay. Um, so let me ask you this: is this something that has come up for you? Do you work in the healthcare field, Natasha? Um, because there is a lot of opportunity to leverage this multi-billion, now almost trillion, if not into the $1 trillion industry. Okay, all right, cool. Congratulations. I really encourage you to get through it. Being a nurse has been one of the most incredible things that I could have ever done. It changed my life. Obviously, I'm still rocking in okay in the nursing world for the past 14 years. Um, and even with your experience in healthcare, let me tell you this: like you don't have to be a nurse to do what I'm gonna teach you how to do. You can be an LPN, you can be an IT. We just need advocates to speak up for the patients who are choosing cannabis as medicine. And I just want to give people the confidence they need to be able to do that effectively, to be able to communicate with hospital leadership or communicate with their patients with plans of care and things of that nature. Like, that's all I want. So if you got questions about why I do what I do, how I even have the ability to do what I do, next week, I'm going to be at the Black Nurses Week conference speaking about this very thing, making green and cannabis care. There's money in this industry, y'all. There is money here, and we are not utilizing it. It is being capitalized on by a lot of people who have a lot of money. They own the dispensaries out here. Let's see, pharmacy, then business side of pharmacy, and pharmaceutical and business side of. That's dope. So you got a lot of pulled in. Okay. Okay, sis. You got this. But there are a lot of people operating in this space. Yeah, we need to talk. We won't talk about it. There are a lot of people operating in this space that only deal with the plant touching side of it, which is fine, right? There's a lot of space for the commerce and the exchange of cannabis from patient to consumer, grower to dispensary, etc. But there's also these other, I guess, what they call soft skills that can be leveraged, and people aren't taking advantage of it. There is space for intellectual property to be created. There's space for you to speak up and speak out and to engage as a subject matter expert. You can consult with dispensary. Just this person, Natasha, she's on the business side of pharmacy and the business side of oncology. Let's think about that, y'all. So, leveraging what she knows, her expertise of the business of healthcare, the business of pharmacy, right? Just her knowing that fact and the fact that she can engage in stakeholders with her knowledge of cannabis medicine, in addition to the fact that she's going to school to be a nurse. So now she understands pathophysiology. Now she understands biology and more, if she didn't already know that. And plus, she's going to understand the science of cannabis all at the same time. So when she goes, she's going to speak to them about her experience on the pharmacy side of things. She's going to speak to her experience on the oncology side of things, which again, we're talking about capitalism at its finest. So she's already ahead of the game because a priority in our society is capitalism on all accounts. But being able to dig in to all these buckets of healthcare all at one time, whenever she needs to, in any conversation, increases her value proposition. She's worth a lot. And I'm sure that if I had a conversation with a lot of other people about this very thing, it would be true for them too. So it's just a matter of being able to identify what unique opportunities, of course, what unique opportunities exist for you. And in addition to that, one of the things that I haven't done well is be consistent with my IG lives. So I'm trying to shift that for myself. But what I'm going to say is this: social media is an opportunity to dig into a sea and into an ocean of people and be able to provide them with information they wouldn't otherwise have in their current environment, right? So, being able to present yourself, being able to share who you are, what makes you unique on these type of platforms is probably the easiest that it's ever been in our history, right? So, back in the day, you would have to go and market, go to these places, talk to people. And I do suggest you still leverage those things and do those things. But social media is also a tool to do that too. So when we're talking about what our expertise is, it goes outside of the hospital, it goes outside of healthcare. We can do so much out here. We can teach in any capacity, we can consult in any capacity. Somebody had told me recently, they was like, I don't have the credentials to be a consultant. Who told you that? Who told you you couldn't be a consultant? What is a consultant? Well, it's somebody who has a specific knowledge or expertise and is able to share them with people and be able to provide them with the shortcuts to being able to do it a little bit better than they would have by themselves. So anybody can consult with anybody as long as you have the experience, the education, the expertise. It's just a matter of pulling it together to make you appear valuable, right? Hey Kim, how are you? So at the end of the day, again, Wednesdays is for questions. So if y'all got questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of opportunity for you. There's a lot of opportunity for me. And what it takes to be able to do those things is your knowledge set, being able to have the skill set, your expertise, and the ability to build your brand in a concise way. And what is building a brand? Building that brand looks like pulling together what your experience, your expertise, and your knowledge is and making it for public record so that way people identify you as the source of some sort of specific information. So there's a process to that. There's a process to getting yourself documented in a way that shows you or shows up as you are the subject matter expert. There's a process even in your mindset to shift because you also need to understand how valuable you are. Okay? You need to understand how valuable you are. The value proposition is not only in the things that you know, the experiences that you have, they're also in who you are. You are important. And it doesn't always have to be on a large scale. It can very easily be on a very, very small scale, to be honest with you. Sometimes it is just up to us to influence our family and our kids, and that's fine too. Or maybe in the case of a lot of us nurses and healthcare providers, maybe it is the impact that you have on patients, right? Whatever and whoever you're supposed to impact, you need to do it well. You need to do it concisely. You need to do it with confidence. You need to do it with intentionality, right? With passion, with drive, with power. You need to have all that going for you. So, a lot of you all have been around, have seen me and my evolution and my growth. Cannabis Nursing Solutions started off as a side hustle. I had my training course, and what I realized is the number one question that people ask me when I get on or when I start talking about cannabis as medicine is, what do I do next? Right? And a lot of people get to the point where they get their LLC. They might reach out to a few people. They might even talk to a few people and go to a couple events. Hey, Bella girl, hey! They may even talk to a few people and go to events. But what I'm gonna say to you is this: building a brand means that you must continue beyond the phases that don't really feel good, where you don't necessarily get all the results that you want, and the power has to be strong and drive through or push through even those difficult times, right? Even when people don't show up. I always tell this story, and you may or may not have heard it, but the first time that I went to offer my training course, nobody came. I knew that cannabis nursing or cannabis education was important for nurses, right? And I still believe that's true. But when I first offered it to people, nobody showed up. It wasn't until I went into the parking lots of hospitals and handed out flyers and got kicked off of that parking lot and then got called behind it and was like, they were like, dude, we got your employees walking in the parking lot. It was me. It was me doing it. And what that training course has done for people is provide them with the awareness of cannabis being medicine where they probably may not have otherwise had it. I offered it at a price that was, it was a good price. Other people are offering similar content for thousands of dollars, where I focus on just the implementation and can give you the same content and the same results at the end of it. But then the question is, what do I do? And what most people do is they get on this train for a little while, they join all these groups really quickly, they want to participate with all this stuff, but they don't really have the tools they need to get them to the next step, to get the contracts with the dispensaries, to even find the dispensaries that need them, to find the patients and the clients to consult with, to get yourself in media publications to endorse you in your brand, right? So with that being said, I really appreciate y'all coming. I just wanted to come on here. Wednesdays are for questions, so I'm going to give a couple more minutes if you all have questions to ask about what I do, how I do it, what I have to say, anything. If you just want to know about me and learn about me, I'm okay with that too. I'm very transparent. One of the things that has been transformational for me is really digging into what my story is, why I do what I do, why I feel comfortable showing up here. I don't care if only one person shows up on my live ever. I'm still going to talk and I'm going to do it efficiently, effectively, and concisely. Either way. All right, sis. So if you have any questions, if you need to know more about what Cannabis Nursing Solutions is, what our mission is, my vision for this business, what the Branding You program is, or if you even want to attend the webinar, it's coming up next week. We just hosted the first one today, where we talked about my transition from the bedside all the way up to corporate and into making green in the cannabis industry. If you want to know about any of that stuff, be sure to hit me up. If you just have questions, oh, thank you. I love you too, sis. If you have any questions about anything that we have going on, anything that I have going on, I do want you all to be on the lookout for. Hey, Denise, how are you? I want you to be on the lookout for any content from Black Nurses Week coming up this week. I'm actually really, really excited about Black Nurses Week, where I'm also going to be teaching them about how they can make green and cannabis care too, letting them know that cannabis is medicine, giving them the steps to engaging their audience and making a shift in healthcare perspectives, because that is our mission and our vision. So if you all have any questions about anything that we have going on, be sure to, you can DM me. I'm pretty responsive. You can send me an email. That's dope too. And happy Wednesday, y'all. Happy hump day. Be sure to be on the lookout, like and share and all that kind of stuff that people do, because y'all know I'm a cannabis business, and as soon as I say the word cannabis, I get suppressed. So I actually need thank you. I actually need you all support and being able to engage with this content, because it's more important for me and for other people's well-being to be able to get some of this stuff out here. And because of the algorithm and logistics, whenever I say cannabis, my posts don't go anywhere. So anyway, and I try not to say them in my posts as often anymore. But anyway, that's a little tip for any of you cannabis people out there. So talk to you all soon. Thank you for joining. Yeah, just give me a follow, like, and share, and subscribe.